only. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Pro Wrestling Throwdown for the week of February 13th, 2022. I am Caleb Black. This is Luke the Big Dog Williams, along with our in-studio producer, the mighty Max Fury. Luke, how's your Sunday?
I'm looking forward to an event on TV tonight where it pits more than one person against the other. It's called the Super Bowl halftime show.
That's right.
And there's a game that's supposed to be played or something.
I heard there's a football game during the concert.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the concert.
Before we get into the Super Bowl diatribe, Max, how's your Sunday?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yesterday, I went to Georgia and I played and won the Arnold Palmer Open.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
It's been stuck in the house a lot. It snowed
It
here.
was
Jesus
all on my
Christ.
PlayStation, but I kicked it.
Well, I'm doing all right. It is.
I don't even know if it was actually Georgia.
It's Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes.
We got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Los Angeles Rams tonight.
Glad you know that, because I forgot.
Yeah. We were just talking about this before. I've only watched 4 games this whole season. Hello, darling. No, I'm sorry. I haven't watched any games this season. I only watched 4 games last season. Just the NFL did not interest me at all this year.
They changed my team's name again.
What is your team's name now? You're originally a Washington Redskins fan, formerly dead name. What is their official team name now?
Well, for 2 seasons, we were the Washington football team.
Yes.
Because,
Yeah.
we had the opportunity to secure the Washington Sentinels.
As they should.
Fell through.
Hey, all right.
So-
y'all aren't watching when we're planning the show. We literally had like a 30-minute conversation about the replacements. If you haven't seen the replacements, watch it. But that's where the Washington Sentinels comes into play.
We now have a mascot that looks like the Cobra Commander.
Okay, but the
With
Cobra
a
Commander's dope.
With a big W. And they're called the Washington Commanders.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Are they playing in the Super Bowl?
No.
Oh. That's right. Neither are the Colts. I'll take it. And
You know why Tom Brady retired, right?
Why is that?
All those rings are weighing his hands down. He had a hard time throwing the ball.
Hurting his throwing arm.
Yep.
Hurting his strong hand. All right.
Take my strong hand.
Either way, for all of you
Yeah,
enjoying the Super Bowl festivities, please remember, don't drink and drive.
Don't drive because the watermelon wrong.
There you go. All right, so let's get into some of the news this week. There's not a ton.
No.
We've got a couple of small things. One of the big things, though, we will talk about is Matt Cardona last night picks up the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Was built correctly. The diatribe between him
Him and Trevor Murdoch.
It sold it. It is perfect way to tell old school wrestling stories in a new way. Matt Cardona, the best thing that ever happened to Matt Cardona was
his release. 100% agreed.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, I tweeted, which we talked about. I tweeted out that the fact that the current NWA champion wasn't defending his championship at every single major independent company. Because in my opinion, if you want to hold to the traditions of the NWA World Champion was a traveling champion. He went to every major territory. The only champion, normally if the titles were changed, it was the champion's choice because he got tired of the schedule. Because in fairness, he was not only making domestic dates every single day or several days of the week, he was also making international dates.
Yes.
The only champion to never tap out to the schedule, and we're talking Harley Race, Danny Hodge, who may actually be the toughest man in wrestling ever. The only guy who never said no was Ric Flair.
Yep.
When he was NWA and then WCW champion, he went to every single fucking place and loved every second of it. So when I tweeted out, the fact that the current NWA champion doesn't go to every territory, it really disheartens the legacy they're trying to set the precedent for.
It's no longer a traveling championship.
Well, Billy Corgan's vision for the NWA is that it's steeped in the traditional version of pro wrestling, which you all know me, I am all for. But you can't do that as a real NWA champion from one spot. You have to travel. That's part of the allure. So Matt Cardona picking it up last night with all of his bookings, with all of his dates. He's been all over all of the top independents. He's in and out of AEW, Impact. You pick a place that isn't the WWE, Matt Cardona's there. Who better than the guy who bet on himself, built a following of millions of people to go out and take that belt and say, yeah, I'm the NWA champion now, which was also part of his promo deal. Was that, with his deal with Trevor Murdoch, was if I was NWA champion, I'd be everywhere.
Right.
I wouldn't just be here because that's not what the spirit of the NWA is. Matt Cardona, best heel in the business right now.
Matt Cardona is a trendsetter.
Yeah.
He set the trend of Twitter. He set the trend of YouTube. He got himself, I should say, over in WWE without Vince McMahon's
and he
help.
did that in the only company that has the most control over your social media appearance, over your physical appearances, everything. Matt Cardona literally carved out a niche for himself and said, this is what I'm going to do despite what they tell me I can do.
Right.
Now, he's taken all of that following. He's got like 4 heavyweight championships of several different independents who are all top echelon independent companies, and he's the NWA World Champion. So if you don't show up at GCW or HCW or wherever the hell he's going to go and defend the NWA title, then you wasted being NWA champion, but you put the NWA title on the guy who's going to do that.
Yeah.
You're going to see him pop up everywhere. He's going to be in the NWA Soul events.
Mark Ross from the Joy of Pro Wrestling writes.
It says, what up, guys? Listening in my car. I think Cardona being champ may change the formula of NWA by him just being there. And I would love to see him and all this go at it.
Yes.
100% agree. And that follows to the trend of what we're talking about. Tomorrow night, being a Monday, probably not going to see much independent stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Independence, heavy weekend. It's a heavy weekend territory. Thursdays through Sundays. Typically, got a couple other companies that do something on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Matt Cardona could be in 4 places this week as the NWA champion.
Yeah.
4 different companies could feature the NWA World Heavyweight Champion as a top independent with sold-out crowds. By the way, when his name got put on the docket, they sold out the NWA event this past week.
It's a modern day
Ric Flair.
It's a
Best
modern day
icon.
You need me in 6 places, I can be in 6 places.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, congratulations, Matt. That's fucking fantastic. You have fit the mold of the current, the modern NWA champion that I believe should exist. The guy who's going to go everywhere.
I said it before. The best thing to happen to Matt Cardona was his WWE release.
100% agreed. Let's talk about some other news, and obviously we're going to trickle back to some of the wrestling stuff. But Matt Cardona stuff.
Yeah.
So the WWE has filed for some new trademarks.
Yes, 2 trademarks. One for a talent name.
Yeah.
What did I say that was?
Something Rodriguez, right?
Gonzalez. Joey Gonzalez.
Joey Gonzalez.
It's a name that they've trademarked for, I'm guessing, an NXT property they're going to bring in. Probably Gunther or Walter's new name. We don't know yet. The second thing was actually interesting. It was for sporting events called NXT Level Up.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a pay-per-view or if that might be like the bump.
Well, they don't have pay-per-views anymore.
I'm sorry.
They have premium live events.
I don't know if it's for the wrestling specials that are the takeovers.
Yeah.
Or if it's a interview segment show. I mean, we don't really know. But an NXT Level Up is kind of a cool.
It is, and it fits the mold of the current version of NXT.
Yeah.
The current version of NXT is very much 90s WWE. If you think about all of the gimmicks that were still being heavily relied on in the early 90s, we're talking 90 to 94. 95.
Oh, so you're talking when Vince was like, hey, what did you do for a living besides wrestling? And then he made it a wrestler.
But if you look at the current state of NXT, there are a lot of, I won't say similar, but equatable gimmicks.
It's character driven. It's more character driven than it's ever been.
It's also worth mentioning that One-Eyed Shawn Michaels is in charge.
Why you got to be like One-Eyed Shawn Michaels? Like there's more than one Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, but he's only got one eye, which most people have more than one eye.
Two. The other one just doesn't work.
It doesn't count if the one eye looks at the other eye. You're just staring at yourself, which is relatively apropos for Shawn Michaels.
I had an ex-wife who had a crooked eye.
Oh,
I remember.
You didn't know if she was yelling at me or him.
no, you didn't know if you were yelling at me or you. Anyway, so Shawn Michaels is in sole charge of NXT 2.0.
Yeah.
Which means Shawn Michaels, company man, outlasted the son-in-law and the son who just got fired 2 weeks ago and is in current charge of their third show.
Here's the deal. If there's any professional wrestler in the entire history of professional wrestling that you want running an up-and-coming show, it's Michaels.
Okay, let me make a counterpoint to that, though. As far as the wrestling is concerned, absolutely.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels is the guy. But is he the guy that should be in charge of their creative and gimmick-driven portion of the show? Let's be fair. And I say that basing on this. Shawn Michaels' gimmick was that he was a cocky, good-looking rock star of a guy. For Shawn Michaels, that's who he is. The sexy boy was the cocky, good-looking rock star. But does Shawn Michaels have that experience wherein, like, okay, you're a bodybuilder. So let's extrapolate on that. We got to find a niche for what it is your strengths are. So maybe you're the guy who does the biggest bench presses ever. All right, well, let's find something to do with your arms because those are your biggest commodities.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, when you flip that around, there's not a single gimmick or a single size of competitor that Michaels hasn't worked with at least 1,000 times throughout his career.
And to that point, I agree. But also, let's look at who he was wrestling in his heyday in the WWE pre-losing his smile and leaving. Okay, and we're talking about the Click,
mm-hmm.
and we're talking about the Hearts,
mm-hmm.
right? While having a tremendous amount of charisma doesn't mean you're a character.
No,
you see what I'm saying?
No.
So he was wrestling shoot wrestlers in the Hart Foundation. Owen, Davey Boy, even some of the other, Jeff Jarrett during the early Intercontinental title.
Correct.
And he did wrestle some of the other, gimmick guys. But really the only major gimmick personalities he ever worked with were the later part of his career. With the exception of The Undertaker, because that's,
but also pointing off your counterpoint.
Yeah.
The way you said that with the Click and everything, he was in a stable that traveled the roads with Scott Hall.
Agreed.
Kevin Nash, Sean Waltman, the British Bulldog, all these different people who are characters.
But their characters are solely driven on their charisma, on what they already have naturally.
I understand that. But when you hang out with a group of guys like that, just like the crew that we used to hang out with. I'm not saying you would be able to pick up different ways to work with different people. Yeah. But then again, Michaels is the head of the NXT thing right now. Yeah. But as well as I do with Vince McMahon, he's not the number one guy. Yeah. He's got a team that puts those gimmicks together. All Michaels has to do is teach him how to sell it.
That's true. And let's be fair, if it comes to selling shit to Vince McMahon, Shawn Michaels pretty much is a patent on the deal.
Well, and here's the deal. Who better to know what Vince McMahon's looking for and knowing what's going to sell for Vince McMahon than Shawn Michaels?
Shawn Michaels, who is literally... If in any other era, can you remember any other superstar that ever caused as much trouble or was as much of a headache as Shawn Michaels that got away with as much as Shawn Michaels?
Not a single person. Because here's the deal. You could make an argument for Ric Flair, but Ric Flair was Ric Flair's own man.
Ric Flair was established before he ever got to Stone Cold. Despite all of his affability, his talent, everything that he got coming into the WWE, Stone Cold's a WWE product. Stone Cold
is.
Yes, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yes. Stone Cold, while on record, protecting himself and making sure the finish is strong, which are all different things than being,
different sizes come with different things.
Yeah, different from being problematic. Stone Cold ever had one thing on his record that maybe didn't look the best, which is when he said he wasn't going to.
And here's the thing with us being in the business as long as we've been in the business and worked with as many people as we've worked with, we know just in the short amount of time, and we're talking Michaels has had a 30-year, 40-year career.
Yeah.
We're talking about us who've had collectively 26, 27 years experience.
Yeah, less than 30.
And I can tell you that what works for me isn't going to work for Max, but this is what's going to work for Max.
Right.
Because while I've been big my entire career, I've wrestled littler guys. I know the style. Right. I know how it works. And that's the thing with Michaels. He's going to be given all these. He's going to be given all these gimmicks. And he's going to be like, okay, Vince McMahon's going to like that one if you do this.
Right.
He's not going to care for that at all. And this, that, and the other. And then when he sends them up to Vince, they've got the Michaels polish on him where it's like, this guy's gimmick and he's talented. This is the guy.
Do you think, though, just based on that argument, there are going to be guys? I always use Juice Robinson as this example because in the early days of NXT, Juice's gimmick kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Right. But
CJ Parker.
Yeah, CJ Parker when he was the what?
The hippie.
The hippie, the wilderness. He's a fucker.
He got his ass whipped by Kevin Owens in his debut.
Either way, do you think that sets certain guys up, regardless of their talent, to fail? Because let's say Vince comes to Shawn and he's like, "Hey, I need a lumberjack gimmick." Okay, well, we got to find the guy to fit the bill of the lumberjack.
Yeah. So
he goes in the back and he's like, all right, you're 6'2", you're 230 pounds. Put this flannel shirt on, put these jeans on. Now, who's to say this guy isn't the best technical wrestler you've ever seen?
Right.
And I mean just like akin to Kurt Angle, Bret Hart, Chris Benoit, just the best technical fucking wrestler you can get in.
But that's not what Vince wants.
But that's not what Vince wants.
Yeah.
So does that certain precedent of what your gimmick is expected to be set those guys and set certain people up who may have talents outside of those gimmicks to fail?
Yes.
Or does it offer them the opportunity to expand past what they already naturally do?
There's different sides of that coin to look at.
Right.
My opinion is no. Yes, it sets up for failure because here's the deal. Look at how many gimmick wrestlers have been let go from the WWE that have went other places, like a Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona, or like a Keith Lee, Sting in the later half of his career has been killing it over there, but he's been doing it because he's not under the thumb of what Vince McMahon wants.
Right.
Now, the expansion, of course, you're always going to expand in this business. You're never going to learn everything there is to learn. It's just not how that works. However,
and your product has to change to be timely too.
Yeah, so if Vince McMahon wants a lumberjack,
then
regardless of the talent that man has,
we're going to
he
find
has in his mind you could be a Dean Malenko. Say you're Dean Malenko.
Yeah,
somebody that wrestles like Dean Malenko.
Right.
And they're like, we want you to be a lumberjack. Guess what, buddy? You're going to have to start learning how to do lumberjack shit. You're going to have to start throwing big boots.
Swinging the axe.
You're going to have to be throwing the big clotheslines. You're going to have to play that gimmick. Yeah. You're not going to be able to.
Lumberjack, your finish should be an axe handles.
From the top rope.
Yeah.
Jimmy the King.
100%.
But again, you're not going to be able as a lumberjack to sweep the knee. You're not going to be a lumberjack who's going to be able to throw a sharpshooter.
Your style has to cater to the gimmick you portray.
And if Vince McMahon wants a lumberjack, he don't want somebody dressed as a lumberjack. He wants a lumberjack.
And it's also worth mentioning that there are a ton of guys who made millions and millions of dollars having had some of the worst gimmicks.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash was Oz. Stone Cold was the ringmaster. And let's be fair, as far as Stone Cold's technical and in-ring ability, fantastic. And it actually complemented that gimmick.
Undertaker worked to fit his gimmick.
And see, that's one of the rare exceptions of like a gimmick that you were given that you have to make, that you have to mold into yourself.
He wasn't originally the Undertaker.
No.
Originally, that gimmick was given to the guy who wrestled as the Berserker.
Yes.
And when meeting them, this was before the meetings with Vince. Vince met with them both on the same day and was like, we're going to do this. You were going to go this way. You were going to Mark. You were going to be the Berserker.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck your name is.
That's
and we're going
the
to
same thing that happened with Val Venus and Edge.
Yeah.
They both got hired in at one time. Edge was almost the porn star, and Val Venus was almost a member of the
Edge
group.
was going to be known as, what was it, something Sexton?
The linchpin of that deal was Christian.
Yeah.
But either way, we could have seen, right now, Val Venus could be having his, let's say, career trajectorily similar. Val Venus would be having the WWE Renaissance right now. And Edge would be some crazy lunatic on Twitter.
Selling pot and not wanting to do the job to other people.
Let's let's talk a little
Oh my
bit.
God. I'm so sorry that I mentioned Val Venus without even having thought about that. Why don't, hey,
Fuck Val
quick
Venus.
tangent. I have to use the restroom. Why don't you tell our fans about Val Venus? Educate them about some
You
of your
want to
history.
leave me unsupervised?
I'll be right back. It's going to take me 30 seconds, but tell the story because it's entertaining.
All right,
We're content creators,
I was
goddammit.
working the Indies in Indiana. They had brought Val Venus in. This was right after his first run with the Fed. I was the champion of the territory. He brought him in. He wanted to go over clean. I told him he wasn't going over clean. That it was stupid and it made no sense. I'm the champion. I'm not putting you over clean. He bulked and bulked and bulked and bulked. Booker was like, this is how he wants it done. This is how it's going to get done. And I went in the ring and lost by disqualification when I hit him with a chair.
Right here.
This was circa 99-ish. Yeah, I was like, no. And they were like, well, you should never have a problem doing a job. And I was like, it's not the job that I have a problem with. Problem that I have is that he gets to fly in here, make money, and go home at my expense. That I'm the champion here. I got to come back here next week. Yeah, I got to come back next week and save face in front of these people. It wasn't the right call. I'm still kind of iffy about it, but it wasn't the right call. He was selfish, very selfish. But that's how most of the people in this business are. So.
No, he's a giant dick.
And now I have
literally.
Now we have our own YouTube show with 140 subscribers, and you're selling weed out of your mom's fucking basement.
But
Yeah, nerd.
I want to talk a little bit about something we don't really get to talk about a whole lot anymore.
Let's hear about it.
And that's some relevant WWE stuff going on right now.
All right, what you got?
And it's not whatever's going on in Raw because no one gives a fuck.
No one's watching Raw. No one's watching Raw.
Raw's hard to get.
Lesnar's doing something, and that's pretty much all there is. And it's not about everything on SmackDown because it's Roman Reigns and Goldberg and somebody said
Bobby Lashley somewhere in there.
I don't know. And it's not Cruella DeVille in getting involved in the championship match.
And
it's not it's not Rowdy Piper's daughter getting involved either because it's not about that. It's about
Ronda's not Roddy Piper's daughter, but we'll go.
How dare you, sir?
But no, actually, the match with Naomi and Charlotte Flair.
Yes.
I came on and I was just sitting on my phone. I wasn't looking forward to it.
Hold on
I
just a second, Max.
Look over it.
We do not condone.
No, please don't.
What?
We do this.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Please
But
don't.
no, that actually was a really, really good fucking match.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see it, Caleb?
No, so I caught some of the highlights of SmackDown. I had a big work week this week. But why don't you talk a little bit about it, extrapolate for people?
It was really like, holy shit. If you haven't seen it, I really suggest you watch it. I was really impressed by Naomi and Charlotte because they both have tendencies to be kind of
bland,
kind of loose.
Well, you know, I follow
loose. Yeah, that's a good word.
If I'm going to work on the weekend, I always make sure that I follow heavily on Twitter, just because that's where I get a lot of the wrestling media from fans who are watching live. And there was a ton of positive reception this past weekend for Naomi.
There was a lot of holy shit moments. They had 4 or 5 different false finishes.
You know,
and I thought it was over after the first one, and even I was calling for it.
Me and Max had this conversation before we got here and went live at the studio. The reason that Naomi looks like she's not as tight as things should be, is because they don't do anything with Naomi enough in the ring that she can get
It's
better.
also worth mentioning that she won the women's championship at 2 back-to-back WrestleManias.
She looks tighter now than she has in a while because she has had a couple matches in the last couple months. And you can see where some of that ring rust is wearing off.
Well, sure.
Well, of course.
She was tighter. She still had a couple of spots that I noticed.
Well, and here's the deal. We just now interjected. We talked about this earlier. We'll give our picks for the
Charlotte
points.
needs to learn to bump on her face. I don't care how much she doesn't want to.
Wait until the video surfaces, speaking of that, from this previous taping for SmackDown. Ronda Rousey goes to faceplant Charlotte Flair into a table. And Ronda's hand leaves Charlotte's head, and it is a full 2, maybe 3 full seconds before Charlotte eats the table. I did. So you mentioned before, I think it was you, that Charlotte had been bumping sort of off.
Yeah, she doesn't like to bump on her face.
So,
at all.
Well, the Lita
keep in
bumps
mind-
that she took were horrible.
Well, keep in mind, with all of her facial constructive surgery in a positive way, I can understand that. But remember when I was like, no, Lita fucked up that twist of fate. And you were like, no, it was Charlotte's bump.
It was Charlotte.
And I argued with that. Watching the bump she took off of Ronda Rousey, that is 100% Charlotte Flair not doing the job.
Told you need to just listen to me.
Well, and here's the deal. When you come to Charlotte Flair with the attitude that Charlotte Flair has had recently backstage, Naomi, in her mind, isn't a big enough star to make those kind of bumps for in the first place.
But-
Naomi had to fight her way up.
But, and to that argument, it's not like Charlotte Flair hasn't earned her place in the locker room.
No. I'm not
It's
saying that
against
at all.
that
I'm not
attitude.
saying that at all. But at the same time,
But
it takes two
It's
to
not.
tango.
It's also not saying that Naomi hasn't either. Again, Naomi won back-to-back WrestleMania Women's Championship matches. She's a multiple-time former Women's Champion.
She's
Naomi's-
carried the Divas division. On
She's
her
a
back
member
for a
of
while.
the Samoan Dynasty.
Yeah.
Through extension.
Yeah.
Put some respect on Naomi's name. Also, she's got an incredible positive following.
And she's got a good look, and she's very athletic and talented.
Yeah.
But she doesn't get the right push for her.
And she really proved it with that in that match. So then of course she lost because we knew she was going to. Because
Well, yeah.
Charlotte's already got the title on the line.
Well, it's also
Rowdy
weekly TV
Piper's
building
going.
up to the event.
Yeah.
They're not going to have the champ lose.
Here's the deal. We talked about that too, me and Max, and he was like, "There's a lot of falsies where there was points where it was like they might do it. They could have done it and then gave the belt back to her at Elimination Chamber."
Mm-hmm.
The reason I say that is because we're already having the tag match they announced that they built for that on SmackDown.
Yeah.
They could have easily switched the title and had Charlotte beat her back for it over in Saudi Arabia to make a title change a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if they're not.
Also, it would add to Charlotte's number.
Yes.
I'm wondering if they're not looking at a tag match between Cruella DeVille and Charlotte Flair.
That's
against,
what was just announced for
Oh,
Elimination
it was
Chamber.
announced.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is just
I didn't
announced
know that.
as of today for Elimination Chamber. You called that in the car before we got here.
Sweet.
So it's going to be Ronda and
It's Ronda and Naomi.
Rowdy Ronda Piper and Naomi
Ronda Rousey and Naomi against Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville.
and
Yeah.
Cruella DeVille.
Jesus Christ. Are you sure he's not a Cornette
That's
fan?
what he said.
Speaking of Ronda Rousey, some of the news coming out is that WWE may be planning on pairing her with Shayna Baszler in the future.
They should. They should have already done that.
100%. Honestly, I
Honestly, that's the Mania match I want.
could give a shit less about them being a team. Let them wrestle.
If they were a tag team, who would they wrestle against? Though?
Well, here's the deal. If they were a tag team, who would be able to stop
That's what I'm
them?
saying. If they were a tag team,
Well, I mean, that's
it's not
what
about
I'm
who would they
saying.
wrestle.
Yeah.
It's who would they beat, and the answer is everyone.
Who would you get?
There's not a women's
There's
tag
not
team in
enough
this world.
women to put together a good tag team.
Oh,
There's not a women's.
That's true.
There's not a women's tag team in the WWE today.
Well, hold on.
I'm not saying there's not good wrestlers.
Hold on.
I'm saying there's not a good pairing anywhere that I see.
Hold on, though. Because if I were going to do a marquee match with Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler,
I can see them making a really, really
The
good tag
obvious
team, but
response-
Yeah.
would be
Yeah,
any two of the 4 horsewomen of the WWE.
maybe Bailey and Banks.
Bailey and Banks would be the perfect
could
pair.
actually.
Would be
But
the
here-
perfect pair.
Yeah.
But here's the
You
deal.
can make the mesh together really
Yeah.
well.
When Bailey left, she was in the middle of a program with Banks, so you would have to build that friendship again before you would. Even
Also,
have
the WWE
Right,
is
which
just
is
not capitalizing on Sasha Banks' star power right now.
WWE's not capitalizing on the women's tag titles because they're on NXT.
I forgot they had a tag title.
Yeah.
Or no, NXT has women. No, that's the only set of women's tag titles,
No.
and they were held
There
by.
are 2 separate sets. There's the WWE Women's Tag Champions and the NXT Women's Tag Champions.
Oh, okay, well, that's where I'm
Yeah.
mistaken.
Which, again, just
Well,
convolutes
that's right.
the product.
Zelina Vega and Carmella
Carmella,
are the WWE
Yeah.
SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So getting away from some of the WWE stuff for just a second before we take our picture Elimination Chamber, let's talk about AEW Dynamite. This past
very
week,
good, very
which
evil.
featured I'm going to pretend you didn't say that in front of God and everyone. Which featured
Very nice to hear you.
Cursed.
not only 2 major debuts,
Yes.
but a stellar main event tag match. First of all, Keith Lee was the surprise signee debut, which we talked about last week. And I still stand by Keith Lee wasn't exactly the star that I expected to see, but his showing was incredible.
Okay.
It was very nice
I'm gonna break into the other guy real quick because I have a point to make for Keith Lee.
Let's hear it.
Tony Khan. I normally don't have a problem with Tony Khan's booking. I mean,
Oh, I do.
no. I mean, for TV wise, structurally, I usually don't have a problem.
Yeah.
It's usually structured very well.
Sure.
How do you bring Jay White in and then 30 seconds later drop your other debut like the first debut didn't fucking happen? That's how it felt like to me. You watered down the first debut of the surprise of Jay White by bringing Keith Lee in that should have been at 2 completely different ends of the show.
Okay, but I argue the tandem debut of Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson.
Yes, but that's my point. He's now following
A precedent
a
of
precedent.
having 2
You
major
can't
debuts
do
at the same
that.
time.
You're killing the other debut.
Yeah.
Danielson and Cole is different because that was on pay-per-view.
And Danielson
talking
was
about-
opposition to Cole. Jay White
Exactly.
happened to show up. Well, Jay White popping up in the camera thing was one thing. The thing that I didn't like about his debut specifically was, yes, Excalibur went crazy on the mic. And, it's Jay White. That's Jay White. But you know what they didn't do? They didn't educate the common American WWE fan that may have tuned in on AEW Dynamite who only
Who he
watches
was?
WWE.
Yeah.
Who Jay White is.
Yeah.
Jay White, to those of us, okay, right now, Max says he doesn't know who Jay White is.
No.
So when I tell you that he's a 27-year-old wrestler from New Zealand, what do you think?
That sounds pretty cool. I'd like to
Okay.
check it out.
Yeah.
So if I tell you that he's a former 2-time NJPW IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, what does that make you think?
I know that's pretty holy shit.
When I tell you that he's the guy who took over the Bullet Club when Kenny Omega left and has been running Japan for the last 2.5 years as their sole proprietor of the head of the Bullet Club, what does that make
Well,
you
then
think?
you
Yeah, I know that's pretty holy shit. I know that there's a lot
Right.
of really top-heavy
Now,
guys
yeah.
that have wrestled around.
Watching
Yeah.
Dynamite on Wednesday, what did you see? You saw a guy pop up as a casual observer, not someone like me who watches the Japanese product.
Yeah.
As a casual observer, he showed up in the vignette with the Bucks and threw Trent into a truck. How did that make you feel as a debut for a mega superstar?
lackluster at best.
Lackluster, and also, who the fuck is this guy throwing Trent Beretta into a truck? Now, again, we'll work on the assumption that most AEW fans and most,
For this guy's clout, I'll explain to
Yeah.
even simpler to the viewers at home as well. The Bullet Club, basically the NWO of Japan.
revitalized all of NJPW.
The leaders of the Bullet Club are as follows: Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Adam Cole,
Kenny
Kenny
Omega,
Omega,
and
Jay White. In the list of names that I named before Jay White, that shows you the kind of caliber and the kind of league that this guy is.
It's also worth
And they
mentioning
didn't
that
even point that out.
AEW now has in contract 3 of the 5 leaders of the Bullet Club.
Yep.
Something to think about.
Vince McMahon better keep a hold of Finn and AJ.
Oh, he leaves. They both leave.
But anyway, the purpose of what I was getting at with Keith
Yeah.
Lee is just that. First off, Keith Lee didn't walk through the forbidden door.
No.
Keith Lee was
He was
released by
released.
the WWE
Yes.
90 days
Well,
ago.
the Forbidden Door thing is Jay White because of AEW's NJPW deal, but that also follows in suit. The former international world heavyweight champion, who basically held up an entire other company on his shoulder for the last 2.5 years, gets a 60-second vignette, basically, on their TV. And then Keith Lee, who former NXT world champion, but let's talk, how was he used in the WWE main product? Not the greatest, not the best of his abilities. That's not saying the fans weren't completely behind him, support him, and love him. I'm talking about the casual observer getting to see who Keith Lee was versus who he is. Okay, so you give the other former legitimate world heavyweight champion of multiple promotions, multiple times over, a 90-second or 60-second vignette, and then you give the guy who held the developmental title one time a full 3.5, 4 to 5 minute full video or full 4 to 5 minute full debut considering extra segments, and he looks like $1 million. Keith Lee looked fantastic. But you couldn't have done that with the fucking
He
guy.
threw Isaiah Cassidy further than Uncle Phil used to throw Jazz.
Chucked him from turnbuckle to turnbuckle. By the way, Isaiah Cassidy got jumps.
Yeah.
And the catching powerbomb looked incredible. Again, Keith Lee had an awesome debut and well-deserved. But they gave that debut to the guy after they shot a video, and they didn't even get like a full frontal, nothing wrestling related. He showed up with his back turned, threw Trent into a truck, and then turned around. And when he turned around, first of all, we all knew it was Jay White. Those of us who knew. But again, Max, you don't know who Jay White is. So it's a guy who popped up on the screen, and that's supposed to be a big deal.
Right.
Wasn't he in the white stripes?
He's a cousin or something.
It's a plain white tees. The Jay White tees. The Jay White tees. But yeah, no, in talking about just their respective debuts, I love Keith Lee's debut. It's the perfect debut.
Right.
Honestly.
It's just kind of like they wasted the big surprise on him.
Well, no. It's that they could have had 2 surprises, and they chose not to have them.
Yeah.
They gave 1 surprise away for nothing. And the other surprise that they could have gotten some international try. They didn't advertise Jay White, okay? TBS reaches like 120 markets. There's a market in Japan for TBS. You're telling me they didn't run any ads for the entire fucking, 780 million populace, or not 78 million people populace who have watched Jay White since his fucking time at 22 years old as a young boy debut on national American fucking television? You didn't get 1 fucking teaser, not
but
1
here's
feeler.
The deal.
You had dirt sheet rumors.
Them claiming the Forbidden Door was Jay White was a cop out, because originally when they advertised the mystery guy, he was going to show up.
He was
to
going
the
to show up
Forbidden
and
Door, sign the contract, and wrestle
so-
Isaiah Cassidy.
So Tony Khan later retracted that comment and specified technically, and this is kind of cool. Technically, Jay White's contract wasn't up until Friday, but they debuted him on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So Tony Khan, when he said the whole Forbidden Door thing and the relationship with AEW, I misspoke because it was too early. Or, I'm sorry, the relationship with NJPW, which also begs the question right now is where do they stand with NJPW, considering they're using Rocky Romero?
Yeah.
They're using several other NJPW top talents. Lance Archer is one of NJPW's top heavyweights.
Yeah,
He was just in a Texas death match with AEW's world champion. How the fuck can you claim your relationship is frayed if you've got a roster of 30 people and 5 of them, just 5, are from the other company, but they're the other company's top 5? Your relationship ain't that bad.
Yeah.
You've got a working relationship at
Yeah.
that point. That's like Ric Flair going into the AWA circa 1983, 1984 when Stan Hansen's AWA world champion and being like, well, we're not really getting along with the NWA right now. But they sent us Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You're working.
We're not in a working relationship with the NWA,
Yeah.
but our main event is Dusty versus Flair.
And that being said, if your relationship being repaired was contingent on a talent, then AEW would have sent Kenny Omega back to Japan to do the job.
Yep.
And in turn, NJPW would have been like, you can use Okada once.
Yeah.
You pick where it's at, but you get Okada. So no, their relationship's not that frayed.
No, it's not that bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've already talked NWA, AEW, WWE. I do want to talk real quickly about Paul Heyman's little SmackDown video before we get to the Elimination Chamber. If you guys haven't watched it, it's fantastic. It's from the New Orleans taping this previous week. The Usos, Roman Reigns are all in the ring, wrestling somebody. Who cares? The important part is what's happening on the outside. Paul Heyman gets to have fun. He's going crazy with some LSU fans because they're in Louisiana. Says, I'm not going to perform for that LSU. Says the B word. Whole crowd eats it up. Paul Heyman, again, just finding every single niche to be the most entertaining guy they ever hired.
And the sad part is, it's never going to make the air.
Sad part is it wasn't going to make the air in the first place because it was part of the dark segment. But somebody had postulated something interesting. The WWE's product has changed, right?
Yes.
We all acknowledge that. But you could tell when wrestlers in the 90s and the early 2000s, mid-2000s, late 2010s were having fun. Could you imagine you tune in Friday night SmackDown. You see Paul Heyman going crazy on the outside of the ring with some marks. How entertaining would that be?
Oh,
How
that would be
much
ratings.
love to watch that. Instead, it's a fucking 2-minute YouTube clip where they could have used it on the international audience that pays for the advertising.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a waste.
It is. And Paul Heyman's fantastic. Regardless.
He's just the best. Yeah. All right. I guess it's that time. We're going to do our picks for next week's Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
Now, here's the deal, y'all. Tentatively, our recording schedule will be next Saturday. We will either do it before the Elimination Chamber, during, or after. That's all I have to offer you. It's going to be one of those 3 segments. Next week, our show will be on Saturday, and we're going to coordinate the rest of this week because I won't be available the following week, and we didn't want to go 3 weeks up without creating content, which ultimately would have happened.
And the 24th of February, me and Max will be doing color commentary for
Correct.
In a Fight in Illinois.
Yeah.
So
And then the
will also
25th,
be
26th, and 27th, I'm gone with Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
Way, get your tickets. Mary Culture Civic Center.
I'll be there.
But so next Saturday, check out our Facebook at facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Throwdown. Follow us on Twitter at Pro Wrestling TD. Send us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com if you have questions about the schedule. If you're tuning in right now, be prepared to tune in next Saturday instead of Sunday. That being said, next Saturday is Elimination Chamber at noon on the WWE Network /Peacock, depending on your international status and your
Yes.
provider. For us, it's Peacock. So we are going to get our picks for the already announced card for Elimination Chamber. So this is always our rule. These are the matches that are announced. We're making our picks now. These are the matches that count.
Yes.
So if they announce next week that there's been a substitution or an extra match added, those aren't going on the ballot. This is strictly for points because we're only 2 months away from WrestleMania. So
And I'm 2 in the lead.
that is correct. So that being said, Luke, lay it on.
All right, we'll go in no particular order.
Sure.
We'll go ahead and start with the one that was just announced today.
Yeah.
We have Ronda Rousey, or Rowdy Ronda Piper,
Yeah.
and Naomi versus Sonya Deville and Charlotte Flair.
Okay.
Really?
Ronda Rousey just won the Royal Rumble. I don't see them pulling her steam, so my pick is Ronda and Naomi.
Okay, Maximus?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's unanimous because I agree.
Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Unless
Roundy Rudy Rousey.
Roddy Roddy.
Sonya
Run.
Deville beats
Just run.
Naomi.
Even if that is the case, it doesn't take the steam off of Ronda.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
the booking's still safe. I'm still saying Ronda and Naomi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just throwing out the.
Flair could beat Naomi. Ronda could beat Deville. Those are obviously like the 2 tandem pairings. So Charlotte doesn't lose her heat going in. Ronda doesn't lose her heat going in.
All right.
But with Ronda just winning the Royal Rumble and needing to get that steam up to Charlotte, it doesn't make any sense for Charlotte to win.
All right, next match
Yo.
that I don't give a shit about.
Ha.
Drew McIntyre
Yep.
takes on Madcap Moss.
Drew McIntyre. Unless they were to pull a surprise thing that'll lead into Mania, but I doubt it. I'm going to go Drew. It's a safe bet.
I'm going to go Drew McIntyre because if he loses to Madcap Moss, he should shoot himself in the face.
I wouldn't say that.
I would.
We don't endorse that philosophy here on Pro Wrestling.
It is false count anywhere, isn't it?
It is, and here's the other thing.
Hard.
If the obvious opponent for WrestleMania for Drew McIntyre is Baron Corbin, then I could see Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin doing something to fuck Drew.
Right.
But also,
at the same time,
do you want to kill Drew's
Drew's
star
gonna
power?
I'm
Or
going
you-
to.
I'm going Drew as well.
Yeah.
But the thing
I
you
can see
do,
that one going either way.
So could I, but for the obvious reasons of the book.
you take out Riddick Moss, and then you have Baron Corbin run from Drew McIntyre till Mania.
Exactly.
Because now he has no backup to help him.
And even then, right now, with the state of the WWE, they're still in flux about a major match. Drew's somebody that can tag in if there's an injury, if there's a COVID scare, something like that. I don't see them killing Drew's heat this close to Mania just because they could use him for a multitude of things.
They need another marquee match.
Yes. And honestly, Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin, I could see that on night 2 of Mania.
Yeah, I'd be down
fine
for
with
that.
it. Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
All right, third match. Another match I really don't care about, but
Okay.
it's on here. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, defend against the Viking Raiders.
The Usos.
Usos.
Hold on. Unless their plan is to kill the Usos' heat to make Brock look stronger going into Mania, which they don't have to do. But they're not going to take the heat off of Roman. So an easy way is for, let's say Elimination Chamber, Brock comes out and fucks the Usos just to mess with Roman, which we've seen them do similar things before. That being said, my vote's still the Usos because I just don't see them drop the belts right now.
I'm also the Usos.
If you're going to kill the Usos, you kill them on night 1 of WrestleMania because you're going to kill Roman on night 2.
If you're going to kill the Usos, you don't do it with the Viking Raiders.
No.
Yeah, no, you need the New Day.
So unanimous?
Yeah, we'll say yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Here
by
we
the way,
go.
did you see they're no longer using the New Day name for Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Woods?
Really?
So the WWE, there was some report read that they're going to try to get away from the name The New Day following future TV events. We'll see if that sticks, but it could be part of them like trying to rebrand Kofi or rebrand Big E, trying to make them independent of the group. But yeah, they may be teetering away finally from their moneymaker in the New Day.
Huh.
Which would be a waste.
That is a waste. All right, we're going to get into the big matches now, gentlemen. We're going to go with the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch versus WWE Hall of Famer Lita for the Raw Women's Championship.
Becky Lynch. They're not going to put the belt on Lita unless they want to do the rematch at WrestleMania, which I highly doubt because they've got other prospects.
The winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber gets the shot at the Raw Women's Championship.
It should be, Shayna Baszler versus Becky 2 and Charlotte versus Ronda 1. So I'm going to say
I don't think they'll put it on Lita yet.
No.
Now, I want you guys to also keep in mind, this is who you think is going to win the match. It could be a DQ finish, and Lita could win, just not win the title.
Right. I still don't see that.
Would be in a DQ, though.
No, I see Becky.
I'm going with Becky Lynch. I'm just, again, throwing out the options.
If anything ends in a DQ, it will be that women's tag match with Piper's daughter.
Yeah. I don't see them taking the belt off of Becky.
But no, yeah.
Unanimous as well?
Yeah. Not 10 weeks away from WrestleMania. That's just
all right. The
18 weeks, whatever it is.
WWE Women's Elimination Chamber, the winner getting the title shot of the Raw Champion at Mania.
All right.
The names that have been announced for the Elimination Chamber are as follows: Liv Morgan, Doudrop, Nikki Ash, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and a mystery opponent.
The mystery opponent's going to be Shayna Baszler.
I think that the mystery opponent could also be Asuka.
Yeah.
She could win the chamber, not do a whole lot, and end up turning around not having to wrestle again until Mania.
And Asuka gets a big return, a big lead into WrestleMania.
And none of these people on this entire card, other than Liv Morgan, I care to even see wrestle.
What I would say is that I don't care who the mystery opponent is. I don't see any of those people.
Do you think they burned 100,000 people on Liv Morgan? I'm going with the mystery. It's either Shayna Baszler or it's Asuka.
Liv Morgan's the only possibility out of that because they just tried to give her a push and it kind of failed.
You could do Rhea as a rematch.
I don't see them doing that either.
Actually, it's not a rematch. It'd be the first because
Bianca Belair getting her rematch would be.
And that's
it. They did that. I don't think they're.
No, I think it's going to be either Asuka or Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, whoever the mystery opponent is.
Yeah, TBA.
I'm also going the mystery opponent because I don't buy a viable opponent.
Anything different yet?
We are all unanimous on everything so far.
Lord.
2 matches left on the card.
All right.
This is the Raw WWE Championship Elimination Chamber.
Lesnar.
Lashley, AJ, Austin Theory, Riddle, Seth Rollins, or Brock Lesnar.
Okay. Hear me out. Hear me out for just
Can
a
I
second.
throw mine out first?
Yes.
Because I also have a point to make.
Okay.
The only way that Brock Lesnar doesn't walk out of Elimination Chamber as champion is if for somehow... Oh, no, that's not where I was going.
Okay.
If for somehow, some way, Roman Reigns makes his way in the chamber.
Right.
There's not a single one of these guys that's going to pin Brock Lesnar's shoulders to the mat.
Okay, so hear me out. Austin Theory is high, super high on Vince's list.
Mm-hmm.
Super high, right? And we're talking about just a Mania main event. We don't have to talk about a title change. Roman could very easily come out, fuck Lesnar. Theory gets the win. Theory wrestles Roman at night 2 of WrestleMania and loses, keeping the Roman and Lesnar heat going on.
Well, the winner of that title match, you'll have to find an opponent for. Lesnar's already picked Roman Reigns. That's
that's right, because Lesnar won the Royal Rumble.
So that's going to happen regardless. What we are trying to figure out is if it's going to be title for title. If it's going to be champion versus champion.
Because of Austin Theory being so high on the list, and you can get a surprise win. But also, then you have to pick a guy in that chamber who isn't Lesnar, who you're going to get a marquee match out of Bobby Lashley.
Not a one. The only person on there that I could even imagine headlining other than Lesnar would be Rollins.
Bobby Lashley Austin Theory beats Bobby Lashley in a holy shit, fuck you, incredible finish.
I don't buy it.
Neither do I, but we're talking about what's in Vince's head.
Well, I mean, what's in Vince's
head?
What's in Vince's head is Brock.
He already had the kid beat AJ Styles and Finn Balor clean.
The only reason I bring up Seth Rollins is because it was originally supposed to be Seth and Shane in Mania.
You think Seth and Bobby, though?
Seth could win the title and defend against anybody.
Seth could defend against Austin.
Orton?
Edge? AJ Styles?
Theory will probably start first and be the last one eliminated.
I think I'm going to say Lesnar. I think that
we're going for points, and I'm going for the easy money. I'm going to go Brock.
Yeah,
I think Lesnar taking the title, unifying the belts, whatever the hell, or Roman winning, vice versa. I think it's always been their plan to have Roman versus Brock.
Yes.
Honestly, it doesn't do them any justice to have another title match on the card.
No.
Especially if they want to sell it 100,000 tickets for the second night. What better way is
well here and then your deal is you've got that match for night 2.
Yeah.
And you've got Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair for night 1.
Yeah.
You've got your marquee matches. You don't need another heavyweight champion. So we all in agreement? All right, main event time. SmackDown Universal Champion. The reigning, defending, holy shit Universal Champion and Roman Reigns defends against Goldberg.
Head of the table, your tribal chief.
Roman Reigns. If Goldberg walks into WrestleMania again after the Elimination Chamber Saudi event as world champion to defend it against anyone, they will have made a massive fucking error of judgment. And we're talking about an error of judgment that would probably turn enough fans off that Peacock would lose even more money than it did introducing this.
Goldberg is nothing but another notch in Roman Reigns' belt, that one that he holds so high.
Yeah, there's no.
Or rather, the one that Paul Heyman holds for him.
That being said, we all said there was no way 2 years ago when he wrestled Bray Wyatt lost.
Fiend.
Or Bray Wyatt when the Fiend lost.
It says 2 years ago.
That's 2 years of wear and tear on Goldberg, though.
No, totally agree. I'm just saying we have to prepare for
a shock moment.
The less than consistent idiosyncrasies of a 70-plus-year-old eccentric.
All right, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here just right quick for the people at home. We are talking about Saudi Arabia and the Prince of Saudi Arabia who puts these deals
specifically requested Attitude Era stars.
Specifically request people from the Attitude Era.
And
him winning the title there before once already.
And Brock could still go on to wrestle Roman. The fans are already behind Big E. Big E's your TBA announcement in the Elimination Chamber. Big E gets his dream match against Goldberg at WrestleMania as a thank you for doing the job to Bobby and dropping the belt.
Attitude Era note that you made of anybody, no, very long time other than Randy Orton. Roman Reigns could have fit in with the Attitude Era.
100%.
But now, the head of the table, Roman Reigns.
But I'm talking for a feel-good moment. If you want to make the fans happy on night 1, what better way than to give Big E, the guy that all the fans rallied behind, and all the fans feel like Big E got cut short, his dream match against Goldberg.
And that's a good point. That's a good point. However, even though we played devil's advocate, I'm still going.
There's no.
Now, I want to say there. We go back to SmackDown. Michael Cole did sit down interviews with both Roman Reigns and Goldberg.
Yep.
They said a whole bunch of shit, blah blah blah. But Goldberg seems like he's in better shape than he was when he
looks
against
fantastic.
his match against Lashley.
Also, you said
And
one of
he-
the sound bites for Roman was going to
Roman
Goldberg.
just brushed it all off his shoulder and ended it with "I'm going to Goldberg."
I liked Roman
Meaning-
Reigns' bit.
You want to cover what he was talking about when he said that?
Goldberg and
Yeah.
Goldberg. The squash. He's
I'm
gonna
gonna beat you in 2
squash
minutes.
Goldberg quicker than he did Lesnar.
Yeah, he beat Lesnar and it was
Dude.
85 seconds, I think.
What if that's legit? What if we're gonna get a ring the bell, Roman hit a fucking spear and it be over?
Hey, Goldberg gets
Best
maybe a
way for
payoff.
Goldberg to go out.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be.
Neither do I.
No,
I think
Goldberg
something.
seems
no.
like he's real. If you haven't seen the interview, watch it.
Yeah.
He really seems like he's ready, man.
Of course, that sells the tickets, and what a bigger pop
Right.
would be to be like
Right.
Goldberg's he's in the shape of his life. This is gonna be
Right.
great. Ding ding ding. Spear.
Boom.
1, 2,
God.
3.
Yeah.
I beat you when you felt like you were at your best because I
Because I'm
Goldberg.
the tribal chief.
Yeah, maybe this is his
So
death
here's
level.
the deal: the last 20
We don't
minutes.
have anything different.
The last 20 minutes seems to be a complete waste of time because we're unanimous on the entire card for the first time in Pro Wrestling Throwdown history.
Does that mean we
Oh,
all get
wow.
double points if we called it right?
If we call a perfect card, I think so.
You know what else? I just realized, small tangent. After we come back from the week break from next week, we will start our season with our second year debut. Or our third year debut.
No.
Did we
No.
start in March?
It was after Mania. Yeah, it was the second week
Oh,
of
okay.
April.
I think it was going to be real special.
Yeah, second week of our first show was May 16th.
Oh, May. Okay.
So we're coming upon another year, I should say.
Let's just say we're already past a year.
But yeah, this is the first time that I can remember. Go back and check, please. Watch our videos. But I'm pretty sure this is the first time in Pro Wrestling Throwdown history that the entire card is unanimous.
Yeah, it is.
And the reason I say that is because we used to start giving max points for calling against us just to call against us.
Yeah.
So we've never had a three-way, especially point tie. Ooh. It's not gay if you're in three-way. Anyway, so we've covered the Elimination Chamber.
Yep.
We've covered Matt Cardona.
Yep.
We've covered Keith Lee and Jay White.
Yep.
We've covered the trademarks. We've covered Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch.
Yep.
We covered the gobbledygooker at one point.
Watch
I
out.
think it's that time.
I do believe so. I believe it is time for our favorite segment. It's time for birthdays.
Some bullshit.
Max, take it away.
All right.
I'm gonna beat you today.
First, I want to give a
No.
shout out to a buddy of ours and viewer, subscriber. Tell him about it, Luke.
Fraley Fear. It is one of the most interesting things that I have watched on YouTube in a long time.
Yeah, he's great.
I haven't got a chance to check it out myself.
If you get the chance, watch with an open mind. It can be a little out there,
Yeah, it's different, but it's good.
but it's great.
Yeah.
We love having him as a subscriber. He did subscribe to the channel, which
Yep.
right there tells you he has good taste. A lot more of you should do that.
That's right.
Just saying. And the like button right there. See that like button right there? We might be the only ones seeing this, and I might look like I'm
Push it.
a moron.
Push it.
Boom! Hit it as hard as you can. Click the notification bell as well so you get
Exactly.
shit. But yeah, please go and subscribe to Fraley Fear. He needs
Oh
some
my
more
God.
subscribers.
Pete
It's
the
definitely
emails
worth
and
it.
stuff. I had to pee again. Good
Also, the Joy of Pro Wrestling
Lord. I'm sorry, y'all. I worked all
YouTube
day.
channel. Mr. Mark Ross puts in a lot of time and effort to his videos. We here at Pro Wrestling Throwdown are all about collaborations and moving the wrestling community forward in any positive light. And these two gentlemen have very good shows, and they put in very copious amounts of work getting them together. Also, if you have a question or anything like that you want us to bring up on the show, you can either write in the chat room or you can get a hold of us through email at prowrestlingthrowdown.com, prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com. You can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/prowrestlingthrowdown and
Follow us.
Twitter, Pro Wrestling TD.
if you follow our Facebook, you will know some of our birthdays because I put all of these that I talk about. Most of these will be on our Facebook, along with a lot of celebrity birthdays and a lot of other birthdays that we just don't talk about. A lot of information, a lot of cool shit. While we're waiting on Caleb, I want to talk about the Olympics. Are, I think, ending week 1 ish, something like that. Over in Beijing, I believe, right? So we're gonna. I looked earlier and just wanted to recap the top 3 standings in the Olympics currently. In third place is Japan with 27 gold, 14 silver, 17 bronze, and 58 total.
Wow.
In second place is China with 38 gold, 32 silver, 18 bronze, total of 88.
Wow.
In the lead with 39 silver, 39 gold, 41 silver, 33 bronze, a total of 113 medals as of roughly 2 o'clock today when I checked, is the United States.
Hey, USA.
And I believe
USA.
we had, what did you say, the first African American?
First African American gold medalist in speed skating. What's the first African American female? I can't think of her name, but she made history just earlier today with being the very first female speed skater to take the gold.
That's
If
awesome.
you haven't checked any of that out, check some of that out. The Olympics is pretty cool.
The Olympics are cool. They get a bad rap a lot of the time, but they're fun to watch and
I
they're
watched
important.
some of the downhill snowboarding and the downslope stuff.
Don't forget,
there's some pretty
the
badass
most
chicks,
important
man.
part about this year's Olympics.
Jamaica
Jamaican
has
bobsled
bobsled
team.
team.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. For the first time since 92?
Yes. 94.
90. I know it's
No,
early
it was
90s.
92.
I can't say whether or not I know
Because
the correct year.
the Olympics that Cool Runnings is based off of, which it's not all true and everything,
Right, but it's
that
based off
year
the
was
92 Olympics.
88.
That's right.
And that
You're right.
was that year. So the next one would have been in 92.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, watch the Olympics. Here's the deal. I like my violence and stuff predetermined.
Yeah.
I'm a professional wrestler. However, I went to the NCAA Division I championships a couple years ago for wrestling, collegiate. And for a lot of those collegiate athletes, that's the only goal they have left after the NCAA in college is the Olympics. If they want to continue with freestyle or Roman record wrestling, that's all you have. Other than, of course, what we do being professional.
Well, I
wrestling.
mean, the global championships, the NCAA championships.
It's awesome to be able to watch the Olympics with the thought in mind that you're watching somebody achieve a lifelong goal.
Right.
It's also kind of cool to acknowledge that there is shit out there that you would think that looks very easy. But then you watch these Olympic competitors do it, and you're like, there's never in a million fucking years I could ever do anything like that.
Correct.
Like you watch these guys like on the snowboards, right? They hit their jumps and stuff, and you think that's cool. And then it pans out.
Yeah.
And you realize
how high
they're
yeah.
going and the shit that they're doing. It's absolutely insane.
100%.
Check some of that out. But let's get into some birthdays.
All right.
Lose.
Let's do it. Oh, no. I kicked that camera like that.
Look what you've done.
I'm sorry. I'm adjusting.
Look what
All
you've
right.
done.
I don't have a lot. Just
You want to touch the beard for
a handful here.
It's soft, isn't it?
Today's the 13th. So today is Tommy Dreamer's birthday.
Tommy Dreamer is 54 years old.
Tommy Dreamer, 56 years old.
Tommy Dreamer's only 51.
Oh, wow.
Motherfucker, come on.
I don't remember the plane ride that way. He was just joking when he touched that.
Dang.
Just joking.
Tomorrow, we remember Viscera.
Hey, Big Mabel.
2014.
I got a chance to work with Big Daddy V like 5 years in a row at the Metropolis Superman Festival every year. That was RPW's biggest show. And every year he was there, he was the coolest, most generous, nicest dude in the world. Definitely well missed.
Big Vis's claim to fame, other than, of course, being a multiple-time hardcore champion,
is that he was the original third man of the NWO.
No, he was not. Oh,
Mabel!
God.
Mabel was the third man.
No, he wasn't. No, the thing about his most high, in my opinion, the highest he went was he was King of the Ring in 1994.
Yeah, and then he was the third
95, 95, not 94.
And then he was supposed to be the third man. That's Vince Russo.
He was not
I'll tell you all
supposed
about
It
to
wasn't
be the
Caleb.
third
Shut
man.
up.
it. Vince Russo.
Third man was supposed to be the British Bulldog. Everybody knows that.
Anyway,
Anyways, rest in peace.
Or
Miss.
stick.
on the
Or stick.
16th, Gangrel has a birthday.
Ooh, 55?
52.
He will be 53.
Oh, nice.
Nailed it.
Point for Caleb. Luke.
No, Luke.
Me. Phil, stupid kid. I won the monies.
And then
I won all the monies. I always lose, but I won.
You won once. You're good.
And then on the 19th, we remember the great Big John Studd.
Big John Studd.
1998,
One of the very first to cross over into movies. We were just talking about him,
Yeah.
actually. In the Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Yeah.
Other thing that really notable about Big John Studd, a lot of people don't talk about, is the very first Royal Rumble that was a pay-per-view, not the first Rumble, the 89 Rumble.
Yeah.
He drew the number 27 and won.
Yes, he did.
And what a lot of people also forget is that he eliminated 31 competitors because after he dumped the $1 Million Man out at the end, Virgil jumped on his back.
That's right.
And Bobby the Brain Heenan screams out, Gorilla Monsoon's like, what's he doing in there? This match is over. And Bobby Heenan's like, maybe he's the 31st guy. And then Big John Studd throws him out of the ring. And once Virgil hits the ground, then the
Then
bell
they rung
rings.
the bell. Yeah.
A lot of people don't.
Rung the bell.
A lot of people don't talk about that. Big John Studd was huge. The first man to the first time he was body slammed was by Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 1, the $10,000 body slam challenge.
Yeah.
And the sad part is they had done that around the horn for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then finally put it on pay-per-view that he could slam him. But I mean, fuck. The Ultimate Warrior slammed Andre the Giant. They just don't talk about it.
Now, so did Harley Race. He was your size.
But anyway, again, happy birthday.
Big John Studd.
Big John Studd.
Now, that's
Big
actually
John.
all of the wrestling birthdays that I have.
Oh,
Wow.
Now, yeah.
I'm in the lead.
Not a lot of. Yeah, you're in the
Was
lead.
it 1-0?
Yeah. But we do have quite
Win's a win.
a couple handfuls of celebrity birthdays.
Okay.
So
All right, lay it on.
Going on those. Tomorrow, the 14th, Simon Pegg, great comedian and actor.
Simon Pegg, Shaun of the Dead.
Simon Pegg's in his 50s at least.
I'm going to say he's 46 years old.
I'll say a little older. I'm going to say 50. I'm going to say 50.
52.
Nice.
Caleb, you tied at one each. On the 16th, we have 4. The first one being Elizabeth Olsen, the mysterious third and youngest of the Olsen
Elizabeth
girls.
The youngest of the Olsens?
Yes,
is-
by I think 2 years.
36 years old.
I'm going to go with 32.
33. No point.
Damn.
Yeah.
No, he said
I
32.
said 32.
Oh,
my
I thought you
point.
said 30.
Yeah.
Point's a point. What?
My mistake.
Elizabeth Olsen's only 2 years older than I am.
Yeah.
I'm saying there's a chance.
The
Exactly.
others are Mary Kate and Ashley are 35, I believe.
Sounds about right.
Mahershala Ali also has a birthday. He is playing Blade.
He's 43.
44.
48.
Damn
Thank
you.
Luke.
Price is right, bitch.
Wow, he's significantly older than Wesley
Yeah.
Snipes was when he played Blade.
Yeah.
2 more on the 16th.
Okay.
Being LeVar Burton.
Jordy.
Reading Rainbow.
Oh,
Jordy.
God. 60.
58.
65.
Nice.
Point Caleb. Also, Ice
Oh, I got
T.
alarm going off.
I believe he's probably all
Watered down now.
Just regular tea by
Just
now.
regular tea. I see he's in his 50s.
57 years old.
64.
I haven't had a
Oh, my bad.
that, but got to take that one off.
I was about to say we were both
I thought
going in
I
the
thought you
50s
said
anyway.
60. You said in his 60s.
No, I said in his 50s, but
That's fine.
My bad. I just heard you
that's
wrong.
okay.
We'll take that one away. It's still winning.
Either way, he smells it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
On the 17th, we have like 4 or 5 here. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Third Rock from the Sun.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's 42.
39.
41.
Damn, we were both right there.
Damn.
Oh wait, no, you got that one though.
Uh-huh.
Earlier, yeah.
Oh, you got that one?
Yeah, he did.
They said 49.
I said 42. He said 39.
39.
I think they said 49.
Yeah, nope.
I just can't hear today.
How does this goddamn game work?
It's called I Win.
I was about to say, I just can't play win. Also, Blue Diamond Phillips.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Chavez, E. Chavez.
Oh, Blue Diamond. 63?
67.
60.
Oh,
I
wow.
thought he was older than that.
You'd think so.
A lot younger than I thought he was.
I mean, he was had to been
He's a lot older than he
Pretty
looks.
young,
He's a
yeah.
lot
He
older
would
than he
have had
looks.
to be
Or he looks a
in
lot
his
older than
early
he is.
20s or so.
like
Yeah.
maybe 21, 22.
Also, let's see, on the 17th, Larry the Cable Guy.
Larry the Cable Guy's 53.
54.
59.
Damn you. I see what's going on here.
Would you like me to answer
That's
first on
5
that?
5 to 2.
I know, I'm losing my ass this week.
You need to.
All that ass.
I'll
all
beat,
that ass
I will
inside.
beat his big ass
Hey,
with your little
get
ass.
all that jump. All that jump
Great
inside.
director,
Sorry.
Michael Bay.
Shit in your mouth.
Michael Bay.
Well, hold on.
59.
61.
57. No point.
Damn.
Also,
Wait a minute.
17th,
If he was, that means when he directed Armageddon, he was only. He had
He
to be
was
about
young.
30 years old.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for Michael Bay.
Yeah, for sure.
last one.
Quit
on the
fucking with my
17th.
Transformers.
Last one for the 17th is another great musician, Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran is
33.
38 years old.
Only 31.
31.
Wow.
I knew he was younger.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've got 4 more. 2 on the 18th and 2 on the 19th.
All right, let's hear him.
On the 18th, John Travolta.
66.
60.
68.
68. Yeah.
Point Caleb?
Yep.
Yep.
Point Caleb.
Point Caleb.
He's got
Also,
yeah.
But write that point down.
I did, because I accidentally wrote one down earlier that wasn't supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
It's already there.
It
Now
moved
it's
itself.
correct.
Don't be fucking with me, Dale.
Now it's correct. All right, yes, performing today in the middle of this football game that's supposed to be happening,
Oh.
Dr. Dre.
See, this is where
This is where it's gonna get
it's
difficult.
because when Dre
I thought
signed
he
with
was
Murder
dead.
Inc.,
That's what Eminem said.
Yeah, he's locked in his basement.
Dre would have been either in his latter 20s or
56 years old.
oh man, 57.
57.
Nice!
Caleb, nice.
I had
I
to
knew
do
he
it.
was up there.
I'm sorry, yeah. Well, it was either he was either going to be in his mid 50s or in his early 60s.
Yeah, it was going to
because
be
of there,
crazy.
there was like that 2 or 3 year gap where he was either
He wasn't making
He was
any music.
watching
26.
Yeah. Yep. What's the score at so far?
It is 5-4 now with
Yeah.
2 left.
All right, this is for the fucking
All
marbles.
right. On the 19th, Benicio del Toro.
Jesus Christ. 58.
59.
55. No.
Damn.
Damn.
All right, so I have to get this one.
You
to
have
tie
to
it.
All
tie
right,
me.
last one. To tie, Caleb.
Okay.
Jeff Daniels.
Ooh, shit.
Oh,
Harry.
Jeff Daniels is 65 years old.
Jeff Daniels is 66.
67. Luke,
Yeah, damn.
Luke wins it by 2 points.
Damn.
Also, there's a happy birthday out there for Arsenio Hall, who just turned 66
Yes.
years old.
Yeah. There's lots of other birthdays
And
on our Facebook.
Speaking
Thank
of
you for
Jeff
that.
Daniels, do yourself a favor. Watch The Newsroom, my favorite show ever written.
Watch anything with Jeff Daniels on
Shot.
it.
Great.
Man's fantastic.
He's.
Plays an idiot really well.
Did you know? So when he got offered the part for Liar Liar, Jim Carrey specifically requested. Or no, I'm sorry, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey specifically requested that it not be another comedian. to play opposite him, only because he felt like that at one point it would become too much physical comedy for it to be funny. He said they needed a real actor to be the opposite character. And he went to Jeff Daniels botched his audition and botched his callback. But Jim Carrey pulled and made them pick Jeff Daniels, and then fucking
The rest is history.
They created the fourth most highest grossing comedy ever.
Yeah.
That year, Jim Carrey had The Mask,
Yep.
Dumb and Dumber, and I want to say Liar Liar.
Liar Liar was 2 years later.
Then it was When Nature Calls.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura. 3 number-1 box office movies in the same year.
The only record to be broken for comedies was Jim Carrey 2 years later when he had the longest running comedy for Liar Liar.
Yeah.
Because the box office kept reintroducing it back because it was making so much money.
Yeah.
Up until, I think, 2013 or 2014, it was the highest grossing comedy movie in history.
He was also the highest grossing actor in Hollywood forever.
Would you say it was over the top? This is a shout out to one of our viewers, Mark Ross. We were talking about a movie earlier, Over the Top, a movie starring Sylvester Stallone.
Yes.
Great movie, 1987.
As a professional arm wrestling champion, but was also the first major blockbuster produced by Sylvester Stallone that was a flop.
It's a box.
That's what we're arguing about because I happen to love the movie.
Yes,
Oh, I
I
do.
think it's a great movie.
but
It's about a guy he's a truck driver.
Yes.
He's been divorced for years, hasn't seen his kid. His mom, the woman dies. His kid has basically grown up in a military type school, and he's trying to get custody of him.
It was the first non sequitur film in the series of either Rambo or Rocky. It was Stallone's first ever Hollywood flop.
Yeah, it didn't make his term of flop was it didn't make as much money as the rest of his Hollywood movies.
What a flop is basically if it's a movie that doesn't cover at least its budget.
Yeah.
So literally, you could make within $1 of your budget, and it's a flop.
Right.
It's the only one. And I
Did you know that they considered the movie Michael with John Travolta to be a flop? The movie was fantastic.
Yeah. Black Dog with
Meatloaf.
Well, that's not what I'm thinking of.
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze.
I bring that up because Over the Top is also a wrestling movie. Has 2 former wrestlers in it. Well, actually, 1 former wrestler and 1 is still wrestling. One being Terry Funk.
Yeah.
And the other is a woman named Reggie Burnett.
Is Reggie Burnett still wrestling?
Over in from AJWP.
AJPW, All Japan.
No. I think he's talking about
All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling.
the Shimmer. She's in Shimmer.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's what Wikipedia.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But yeah,
that totally makes sense.
Shimmer's a
It looks
developmental
like she's
territory
still
for one for AJPW.
Somewhat fairly young-ish.
Wow.
So maybe she played a kid in that. I don't know.
Could have
been.
Could have very well been.
She
Could have been one of the kids.
One of the kids in the diner?
as well as a man, not a wrestler, he's a professional arm wrestler. Man goes by Rick
Moranis.
He was in. He plays the main big guy that Stallone has to beat at the end. He's a big giant bald guy. He also happens to play the lead big bald clown in Batman Returns.
Oh, wow.
And he was in a couple other B-rated movies, I believe, but
He's like Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. He just popped up in fucking everything.
Yeah.
Because I remember Ogre. No, Ogre. I'm talking about Ogre.
Right, no, but Booger did too. He had a
Yeah.
whole slew of sci-fi and comedy films he showed up for.
Booger's synonymous with every fucking thing.
Yeah.
But Ogre, I remember the biggest one that I think he ever went in was what, Kickboxer? With Jean-Claude. He was the big guy that Tong Po fucking beats to death.
He was also the guy who played the Juggernaut in
He didn't beat him to death. He beat him badly because at the end of it he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
at the end of Kickboxer. You think he killed him, but he didn't kill him. He just
He's been
messed him up.
He's been in a ton of different shit.
I think it was him.
Tons of things. Over being the most important.
The only one that matters.
But yeah,
4 movies he played in.
All
If
right.
you haven't seen it, watch Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone. It's quite
30,
over the top.
35 years old today.
Yes.
It's the
I think I
35th
saw that
anniversary
online, too.
of Over the Top, right?
Something like that.
33 or 35, something like that.
35, something like that.
Look for a new
Speaking
DVD
of
special.
numbers, Roman Reigns has been champion for 532 days to date.
Wow. It doesn't matter.
It's a lot of days.
It doesn't matter because when it comes to WrestleMania in April, Brock Lesnar's going to unify
Nope.
the World Championships.
Nope.
He's going to strut about.
That's going to be the point he loses.
We're still
right
talking
there.
wrestling bullshit, so we'll go with that.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
It's gonna happen.
paint a piece of shit any other color. It's still a piece of shit.
Hey, look, man, it doesn't matter if you get paid $8 million a year. It's how much revenue you generate.
He's not losing to Lesnar.
We'll see.
I don't think he'll lose again until he's ready to lose. And
I believe
definitely Lesnar.
we said that Roman Reigns wouldn't lose to Lesnar for like 8 months in a row a couple of years ago, and he lost every goddamn
single time. Yeah,
This isn't 2 years ago.
Well, you're right.
that's a different Roman Reigns. It's a different, of course. That's a different Brock Lesnar.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. We appreciate you sticking around for the banter. I promise I will mention comic books in the future. We actually didn't get a chance to do that today. I was planning on it.
X-Men, Batman, Superman. You're welcome.
Spider-Man sucks. Hulk sucks. Captain America sucks. No. All right, guys. Please be sure to tune in next Saturday for our Cover the Elimination Chamber, whatever version is we decide to do.
Watch Facebook for updates.
Yes. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Throwdown. Follow us on Twitter at Pro Wrestling TD. Send us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and as
And watch
always,
Roadhouse.
from us to you,
Roadhouse.
keep it in the ring.
I said Roadhouse.
Fuck the Bengals.
Gonna go over the top.
Worst lines in history. I know.